Hi Scorpio, welcome to your June 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thanks to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details there. As far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic cross spread as always, and then I also pulled some Oracle cards for you guys and a Mudra card. So we'll get started with the main spread. The main situation position, we have Judgment. So this, to me, is actually one of your major arcana cards as a Scorpio. You know, obviously the Death card is the most easily identifiable one for your sign. But if you think about the fact that 8th house is often referred to as the house of death and rebirth, to me, I view this as the rebirth side of that energy. So this could just represent something or someone coming back around from the past. Now, I feel like this is something that's been buried for a while. So I don't think this is something that, last week you might have had a falling out with someone and now they're coming back around. I feel like this is something that has a bit more time behind it than that. And I do see that there's an opportunity for that to come back around for you guys. Now, there's a lot of 8th house energy going on for you guys in June. You have we have Venus there and it's retrograde. You can have Mercury there for a bit before it moves into Cancer. Obviously, the sun will be there. There's going to be a new moon coming up pretty soon. So a lot of 8th house energy in general for you guys. And then to me, this is just saying that there's definitely the opportunity for something to come back around for you. And as far as what it could be pertaining to, in the challenger obstacle position, we have the 10 of Cups. So for you guys, this is actually Pisces energy, which represents your 5th house of love and romance and also creativity. So for some of you, this can just be a creative project that maybe you're deciding to get back into again. Maybe you had to, step away from it for some time. Maybe you felt like you lost a creative edge for it for some reason. But what's more likely here is this could be saying that this could be a relationship coming back around that, maybe there was potential for happiness there, but for whatever reason, things might have fallen apart in the connection. And I do have to say, for a smaller percentage of you, this could even be that maybe there is someone coming back around from your past, but the challenge is that you're already happily involved in another connection. But I feel like that'd be for a much smaller percentage of you. In the foundation position, we have the Page of Cups and the 5 of Wands. So interesting energy here. What I always say with the Page energies is they have that one foot in, one foot out vibe. It's not necessarily that there's insincerity behind it, but at the same time, there's not too much confidence behind it either. So seeing that with the 5 of Wands, I can see this a couple different ways. So whoever this is that's making the offer, whether it's you who's actually trying to reconcile things or someone else, I feel like what this is really saying with that 5 of Wands is that they're going to kind of give a half-assed apology. So, it could be you, could be the other person. But I feel like that's what's really going on there, where it's like they're giving a half-assed effort towards apologizing and getting things back on track because they expect this to be the end result. So it's one of those things, and I would say, especially if it's you, keep in mind that you guys have Libra in your 12th house. So, you could really manifest these things subconsciously, which is to say that if you go into the apology and you're expecting, well, you know what, if I say sorry, it's just going to end up like this anyway. So you end up really kind of not going all out with the apology because you're already expecting a bad result. That can end up bringing that your way anyway. You know what I mean? Because if someone's expecting a sincere apology from you, but then they get clearly they could see you're not really invested in the apology, then yeah, they might be a little bit annoyed by that. So if this is you coming from that energy, I would say maybe the message there would be to say to give it more time until you are ready to actually be fully invested in the apology. And if it's the other person, just know that that could be that's where they're coming from. There could be sincerity behind the apology, but at the same time, they're kind of expecting a bad result. So, they might have that one foot in, one foot out energy on the approach. In the past position, we have the High Priestess. So this is a very intuitive energy, and this could just be saying, you guys did have that full moon recently in your sign. Could be that. Could just be saying that in general, we've just really been relying on your intuition, maybe not communicating very much, especially given the fact that that full moon that you had was trine Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So to me, I view this as Pisces energy a lot. So, you could have really just been in touch with your intuition and really came to some insight around the time of that full moon, but haven't necessarily communicated what you came across at that time. In the present position, we have the Four of Swords. So to me, this does represent some healing energy, right? Naturally, this card comes after the Three of Swords. So usually if I see this card pop up in a spread, there was some kind of heartbreak and disappointment that already took place. And now this is saying that you're actually in the process of healing from that before moving forward. So it's a pretty good energy to have there. And then plus this is Libra energy. So for you guys, that's your 12th house. We were just talking about that energy. And then with that, to me, that says that, you could just really be stuck in your head, kind of replaying what happened over and over, right? What was said, what wasn't said. You guys had Saturn moving through your third house communication for a couple of years. So that was pretty tough on communication for you guys, I'm sure. It's actually going to be backtracking towards your third house again soon, too. So, I just feel like you're really just going over what was said, what wasn't said, and not necessarily taking action at this time. All right. In the near future position, we have the Five of Swords. So, we see that 5 energy again, right? We saw it here in the foundation position. And now we see it in the near future. Very similar energies. This is the Leo side of the energy. This is the Aquarius side of the energy. So, this definitely represents more of a verbal type of spat, but at the same time, what I see here, to me, this could just be a bit of a warning of kind of what I was saying down here when we were talking about these two cards, which is to say, if it is you who has to make the apology, maybe, don't rush the healing process, because if you're not fully invested and fully healed, you might just come across expecting the worst, and then as a result, kind of end up manifesting that. And at the same time, too, if this is a dynamic where you know that this is where you and this person always end up, right, where maybe that's what the issue is, then it could be asking you to look at why you would want to go back into that dynamic anyway, right? So that could be what's at play with this card popping up. And in the position of your influence on the situation, we have Justice and the Fool. So interesting energies here, more Libra energy, so a lot of energy. To me, this is really pointing to you guys are really just, again, like I said, feeling stuck in your head a bit, not necessarily ready to act, but heavily thinking about things. And with the Fool, to me, this can say for some of you that you're just going to go ahead and make that attempt anyway, right, to restore peace. So if it is you who has to extend the apology, then you might be the ones that actually do move forward and make that gesture, right? Realizing that, okay, this is the only way to restore balance. Now, if that's the case, keep in mind here what I was saying. If you know deep down that you did do something that might warrant this kind of response from this person, then the message there might be to say, well, you know what? You might have to just take your lumps in that regard to balance the scales in that regard, which is to say, okay, well, if you know you kind of had that coming, you might have to just let it happen, and then that's going to enable you to finally get out of that stuck energy you're in and finally move forward, whether it be with that connection or just because the karma's cleared there and you're able to move forward. Now, for others of you, this can be saying if you feel like you owe them something, then that could be why this energy is on your mind, where you're like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and say what I have to say and keep it moving. So hopefully it manifests in a more positive of those two scenarios, but that's what I'm seeing there. In the environment position, we have the Sun and the Ace of Pentacles. So with these two cards showing up in the environment, I feel like this can point to the fact that, you really just might have to take that leap of faith, and that might just be what ends up balancing the scales. Like I said, whether it be you end up moving forward with that person or moving forward away from that person. It looks like this might just be saying that there's just blocked, stuck energy that needs to, come out one way or the other, and after that takes place, you guys might be able to get a new start in the situation. Now, if this is representing the other person, this could just be saying that, they're actually looking forward to a new start as well. They might have a bit more of a playful energy to them, and then for some of you might even view that as a bit more immature, but, if it's them that's coming with that page energy, that could be what it is too, where they don't necessarily, like to dig deep. They'll try to just come forward with a more playful, vibrant energy to get things back on track. And then, obviously I could see why that might annoy some of you as Scorpios, because you like that deeper energy for the most part, but that's what I see there. And the hopes or fears position, we have the world. So if nothing else to me, for this coming up in the hopes position, to me, this is just saying that you're hoping for the cycle to be over one way or the other. And I could see that where, like I said, it feels like there's a lot of energy of you guys being stuck in your head. So maybe that's why this is coming back up one way or the other to help you finally move past it and get that forward progress. Like I said, whether it be with this connection or outside of it. So that's what I'm seeing there. And in the outcome position, we have the Seven of Cups, which is actually more Scorpio energy, represents the last 10 degrees of Scorpio, and the Two of Swords, more Libra energy. So, I mean, looking at these two cards, really, I have to say that it looks like for a lot of you, you're just not really ready to make that decision yet. You're not ready to move forward yet. Could just be saying that there's a lot of confusion going for you guys there. And I do have to say, if you do have a placement in those last 10 degrees of Scorpio, that would make sense as far as, you might be kind of close to that Neptune aspect. So even when it's a positive aspect with Neptune, it could still cause some confusion, not being sure if you could trust what you're seeing, right? Trust what you're feeling. And then with that Two of Swords, again, a lot of Piscean energy there because that's your 12th house, Libra. So I feel like you're just going to be, wanting the truce, because this card is often referred to as the truce energy in a lot of decks. But seeing these two cards together, I'm really not sure if you're going to actually take action, even though we do see that Justice and the Fool. So what I'm seeing here is this is saying more of, with these cards showing up in your position, it's saying that really, in order for justice to be restored or balance to be restored, you would require that leap of faith. And to be fair, I did say to you guys down here what I was picking up on with these two cards, which is to say, if you know deep down you're not ready to actually offer the sincere apology and it's going to just turn into this anyway, I feel like you do have a possibility of manifesting that with that Five of Swords, which, like I said, if that person feels that you're not really giving a 100% sincere apology and they feel they're owed an apology, well, you could kind of see why that might bring out a, less than ideal energy in them, right? Where they're like, really, this is what you're coming back with? So if you're not ready, then maybe you do need to take that time. But it looks like it's saying that eventually, at some point, in order to get that forward movement, it's going to require a leap of faith from you. All right, so moving on to the Oracle cards. First, we have, actually, I forgot to mention too, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy, and it represents the last 10 degrees of Capricorn. You guys have your ruler sitting there right now. So again, yeah, I could definitely see where there could be some control around communication. Like I said, you guys have had Saturn moving through there too, which was pretty heavy energy. You have Jupiter hanging out in your house communication. So a lot of karmic things going on with communication for you guys. But yeah, this is just saying to me, again, it points to you're just not ready to communicate things. But, that could play out in a good way or a bad way, right? We covered those scenarios already. All right. Sorry. Now back to the Oracle card. We have TikTok. There's the artwork. And the number is 30. So let's see what this says. Okay, it says timelessness, divine timing, immeasurable time. The Oracle's message: when humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People have come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and the future is ahead of them. But what if that isn't true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos, and order, were happening now in a glorious timelessness? You have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire, so release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. Miracles are here right now and always show up when you need them, right on time. So definitely a pretty positive message there. Hopefully you guys got something from that. And then the relationship message says love, the fulfillment of desire, and even the body's reproductive cycles have their own timetable. Some things are preordained and cannot be coerced. Everything has its season, its divine and appropriate timing, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. Remember that you always have enough time for love, to find it, to nurture it, to give and receive it. Its clock is eternal and ticks according to the beating of your heart in perfect rhythm. Isn't that wonderful to know? Love is always right on time. So, definitely an interesting message there as far as the judgment. Again, like I said, represents something that can come back around from the past. That, with the Ten of Cups being at a challenge there, it looked like it was something that did have the potential to bring you happiness. And maybe this was saying that you guys had some karmic things that you had to work out. Maybe you, maybe even possibly both of you, had to work through that energy. And now this could just be saying that the timing might actually be right for you guys to get back on track. All right. And the prosperity message says your prosperity is co-created by your endeavors as they occur in human-made time and the eternal efforts of your most important manifestation partner, spirit, in a divine, measureless time. So keep doing what you're doing. Stay positive and make a commitment to remain in high vibration thoughts and feelings. If you heed the message of this card, it will seem as if you will align with your highest calling and your highest good in no time at all, like magic. So what's all the fuss about not having enough time? The prosperous life that is yours will never pass you by. So definitely an interesting message there. I kind of got swept up in this being more of a relationship dynamic, but if we do look at it from the perspective of finances, that's an interesting message there as well. As far as the timing, and then with the Sun and the Ace of Pentacles, that could be what that's pointing to as well, with that in the environment position, saying that some new opportunities might come your way. There's going to be 2 new moons during Cancer season too, so even if it takes until closer to the end of June when we get that first new moon in Cancer, or even the second one, that's going to be some pretty supportive energies for you guys as a fellow water sign too. All right, now moving on to the next oracle card. We have Coyote Spirit. It says, trust in divine detours. There's the artwork, and the number is 16. Okay, it says, do you find that you are being led on a strange detour in your life right now? Does it seem that what appears to be the next right action and the right choice, best situation, or fabulous relationship unexpectedly turns into the opposite, or just disappears into thin air as if you've been tricked? Coyote Spirit's trickster energy is designed to bring you into situations to teach you lessons you have forgotten to learn. Perhaps you need a taste of failure before you experience success, a need to feel disappointment before you can truly appreciate the joy, love, and prosperity that is coming up for you. Perhaps you are revisiting a pattern you forgot wasn't in alignment with the life you are intending to co-create, being reminded that gratitude, not complacency, will keep you awake and aware of all that is available to you in this moment. Coyote Spirit reminds you to laugh about the unexpected twist, to develop humility and gratitude while releasing your attachment to the form of your desires. Even when you suddenly find yourself on a detour, wondering when you will get back on track to manifesting what you desire, remember that Spirit has a plan and wants the best for you. Trust in divine order now. Coyote Spirit is a divine helper. No matter what seems to go astray, things are exactly as they are supposed to be. So definitely an interesting message there, because it makes me think of what I was saying where, for some of you, this could just be saying that even if you do, like I said, if for some reason you feel like that, okay, that person might warrant that type of response from you, and you know that it's not going to go anywhere, right, with that Page of Cups and the Five of Wands, or you feel like, okay, this is just going to end up in an argument anyway, where I was saying that Justice and Fool card could just be saying that karmically you just need to balance the scales anyway, and that'll actually enable you to move forward. Like I was saying, whether with or without that person, that could just be saying that this is what it is too, where you guys just might have to finally let that out, move past it with the judgment energy, and then that'll block your, unblock your progress forever. All right, and then you actually got a second card that came up from this deck, and it was Bat Spirit. It says a rebirth is assured. So it definitely makes me think of the Judgment card immediately. But there's the artwork there, and the number is 5. Alright. It says, after something has run its course and died or been released, finished, surrendered, completed, or ended, there is a promise of a new beginning. Rebirth is assured, just as night gives way to dawn and the bat emerges from the darkness of a womb-like cave. Bat Spirit has come to remind you that rebirth is a miraculous one, for the very best elements of what you had to give up in the depth of the old are still present in this new, amazing life forming now. This is the miracle and magic of rebirth in every aspect of your life, including the rebirth of faith in your ability to establish new and healthy relationships. Bat Spirit reminds you that at present you are in unknown territory and may feel as if you are lost. However, you are called to trust that your intuition will be a reliable guide as you give birth to something new and unfamiliar. Bat Spirit has listened in the darkness of night and has heard all your hopes and dreams, your fears and worries, and assures you that this new version of your dream, this move from darkness into light, from lost to found and death to rebirth, comes to fruition with love at its core. Bat Spirit asks you to trust that what seems to have died is actually shape-shifting into something even more meaningful and wondrous than before. If you feel you are in the dark, know that come morning, all will be revealed and things will be in a new form that is right for you. Alright, so that was a pretty wordy message, but definitely hopefully that resonated with you guys. I could see where that made sense regarding the main spread too, so hopefully you got something from that. And then the last thing we have is a Mudra card. So the Mudra for your sign this month is the Bhramara Mudra. That's it there. And the keyword for it is harmony. Alright. And if you guys want to pause it or take a screenshot, you can. But under benefits, it says improves the health of the lungs and large intestine, balances the immune system, particularly in cases of immune overreaction, reduces allergic allergens to food and pollen, soothes cough and irritated lungs. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of the Mudra in the description of the video. As always, we'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.